Good morning, all of you all. So, our third edition of our festival, Media Ice Age and Cine Voyage, is back. A festival that I feel the city of Mumbai adores. Why I say that? Because being a media institute, we are the only institute which offers this kind of a festival in the media spectrum. Apart from just having regular events revolving around media, dear students, we always try to curate workshops, conclaves, inspiring stories, fireside chats, workshops, all revolving around different aspects of media that you study, that you would like to pursue, or perhaps you would like to make a career out of. So, what does this year's Media Ice Age, with its theme, The Legend of the Phoenix, Ever Ascending, and Cine Voyage, A Dream You Seek, have for you? Starting with inspiring stories, we've invited Pon Mariyappan. Who's he? He's a barber. And what does he do? He hasn't learned how to read and write, but dear students, he has a small little library in his salon. And what does he insist that every person who walks into his barber shop do? They have to read a story out aloud to him so that he listens to it. And if they don't read the story aloud, they at least have to read it for themselves. So he's doing two things. He's inculcating a reading habit. He's also listening to stories because he doesn't know how to read and write. And he also learns in the process. Isn't it an inspiring story? Yes, he's joining us all the way from Chennai, of course virtually, and we are having our own Selvi ma'am translating whatever he's going to speak in Tamil for you. So you have to come and listen to what he has to say. You all must have heard of Sadhguru. Who hasn't? So the ISA Foundation, with whom we are aligning with for our CSR initiative, Creating Environment Consciousness, is going to send in their representative to talk about the kind of work that they do to preserve, to conserve, and to also inculcate in society why we should pursue a greener environment. So come and listen to them. How many of you all like to write a book? And I know there are many who want to become writers, content creators, okay? You all write poetries, you all write short stories, but we all want to also publish them at some time. So your fireside chats this time is going to be on how to write a book, where we are going to invite a popular book writer. We have a list of names in Siddharth Dhanwan Sangvi and a couple of others, even Vibha Singh, who could probably be your resource person and guest speaker with whom you can have questions on how they wrote a book, what inspired them to write a book. And of course, you would like your work to be published one day. You would go from one publisher to the other and the publisher will run around, turn and say, okay, I don't like your work. I don't know what you're writing. I'm rejecting. Or you've written superbly. I'm going to publish your book. So what does it take to publish a book? So we are in talks with HarperCollins, we are in talks with Penguin, we are in talks with Pearson or Sage. You might have any one of these people coming in as resource persons to talk to you about how to publish a book. These are your fireside chats. And who doesn't read comics? I'm sure you must have read Tom and Jerry, you must have read Batman, you must have read Phantom, you must have read these recent comic stories. Well, I grew up reading them, okay? So I'm sure you must be knowing the famous comic characters. And we have none other than Abhijit Kini, who's going to come and talk to you about chronicles behind comics and how important a visual form that is. So why wouldn't you like to listen to them in our fireside chats? What about conclaves? Who's going to come and talk to you in conclaves? Well, these sessions are slightly more academic, but yes, you would want to know them. You would want to know what are the media ethics and practices and how have they changed over the time. We have Mr. Nagesh Fernandez, who is the editor of Scroll, who's going to come and talk to you about media ethics and practices. We all know about AI. We are reading about AI. We know how AI has actually, I would say, intruded in our privacy also. Okay, everywhere we have AI, and AI, data science has AI, apps have AI, everything is about AI and technology. Okay, but what are the legal and ethical intricacies behind AI? So we have a fantastic legal person who's going to come and talk to you about that. Another conclave session that we have curated is Urbanization, a Fiasco Within a Fanfare. Okay. And this is because our CSR initiative is environment consciousness. So you have an activist in Zoru Bhatena who's going to come and talk to you about urbanization. Well, we all know in a city of Mumbai, I can say we are living in a concrete jungle. But is it good to live in a concrete jungle? Okay. And we are not. I think India is becoming, Mumbai particularly, is becoming so badly polluted. It is getting worse than Delhi. Okay, so we don't want to go anywhere close to Delhi. We don't want to breathe that impure air. So let us listen to what Zoru Bhatena has to talk about that. Right. And lastly, on the conclave, we have even a session on. Okay, it's not by heart, so I also keep on forgetting. Yes, color grading. I'm sure you must have all seen the web series Scam. Okay, you must have, you don't know who Harshad Mehta was. I knew, because he was a man and a name, a big bull. When I was growing up, when I was of your age, we heard about Harshad Mehta, and now you've heard of him and you've learned of him through Scam. Who colored Scam? You want to know who the colorist of the Scam film was? Well, we have invited a person from Famous Studios who's going to talk about what inspired and how he decided the color for the film Scam. So all you film buffs, all those students who are doing film, television and new media production, all those students who are learning film communication and basics of visuals, I think you should know a little more about color grading right from the industry experts, right? Let's not forget panels. We also have panel discussions for you. You all know non-fungible tokens. You all read about cryptos. You all know that the country El Salvador is the only nation which has legalized it, but across the world, all other countries are against the Bitcoin. India is not favoring Bitcoin. Every day we read papers, we hear on news, everyone talking about crypto. Just yesterday in the newspaper, there was something called a Chingari Star app, which is addressing nothing but cryptocurrency and digital currency and asking you to download the app. Let's learn about the boons and the banes of this cryptocurrencies and non-fungible tokens. So we have the Vice President of the Federal Bank. We have Abhishek Bhate, who is responsible and he knows what blockchain technology is. We have Ritesh Bhatia, who's going to address cybercrime that happens because of crypto, all on this panel. And who's going to moderate? A moderator is done by a financial journalist who knows and writes about cryptocurrency. Right? The other panel that we are going to talk about is cells versus pixels. Now, when we talk about cells versus pixels, what are cells? Cells are cells found in human bodies, in flora, in fauna, and pixels is all about digital. So, is going digital really eco-friendly? Let's not forget, our initiative in this festival is environment consciousness. At the same time, the nation talks about skilling up India, digital India. So, is there a trade-off between being environment conscious and going digital? Let's hear from the experts. So, we have people on the metaverse side and we have people from the environment conscious who are going to come and talk about cells versus pixels in another panel discussion. The third panel that we have is on regional filmmakers. Well, we all watch films and we all read that regional films today are doing much, much better. So we are having Joshy Joseph from the Northeast. from Calcutta, who's one of our panelists. You must have heard of Abhishek Jain. He is another panelist. Swapna Waghmare Joshi is our third panelist. And Mr. Bhatia, who is an award-winning film maker from Haryanvi, is our fourth panelist. And our own student, Amrik, would be moderating this panel. So come and listen to them on regional filmmaking. And the fourth panel that we have is global film culture. Now, what are we going to talk here? Well, students, in Cinevoyage, as you all know, we've invited short films from all over the world. And guess what? We've received 1,400 plus films from 100 countries. The theme of Cinevoyage is a dream you seek. Every short film had to be done on this theme. There were many which did not fit our criteria, but on a standalone basis, they were brilliant films. So what did we do? We decided to call the filmmakers of these films to be on this global film culture panel. So we've invited people from Germany, from Sweden, from Iran, from Iraq, and from United Nations. These filmmakers are going to be on the panel to talk about what inspired them to make this film. And we're going to talk about filmmaking across these 5 different cultures. So dear students, this is your fireside chat, your conclave, your change makers, that is inspiring stories, and your panel discussions. Media Ice Age and Cinevoyage is full of this. And let us not forget the last and most important thing, and that's your workshops. We have organized 9 workshops for you all. 9. We have workshops on puppet making. I'm sure we've all seen puppet shows. We've learned shadow puppeting. So let's know how to make puppets. We have invited a person from Kandivali who's going to come and do and teach us how to make puppets offline. This is an offline workshop. You'll have to come to the campus and learn how to make puppets. The next important workshop is on character animation. Animation 3D, character animation. Again, this is going to be offline, and our own Shalu sir is going to teach you this, right? You can do that in our own IT lab. The third workshop is on animation 3D, but product pack shot. This workshop is going to be online. I'm sure you would want to know more about this and learn how to move a still product, a still, an object, and create a pack shot. And I'm sure Shalu sir will be the apt person to teach you that. We all must have seen a film where you must all have seen the film Pa, okay? And you must have seen the prosthetics and the makeup done on it. The person who did this, Zubi Jogal, is the one who's going to take the workshop on special effects, makeup and prosthetics. Wouldn't you want to learn from her? This is an online makeup. So it's just not makeup, but it's special effects makeup. It's prosthetics, which you would want to know as students pursuing films, students wanting to make a career as a makeup artist, right? The next workshop is on making your daily products at home. Okay. Now you want to make a sanitizer at home, you want to make your hand soap at home, you want to make your moisturizing lotion at home, right? You make these products at home. You don't need to buy products which are chemical based from outside and harm your skin. So you're going to have a person who's going to come and teach you how to do all of that. We all love to listen to our own voices. Okay. There are people who would want to pursue dubbing and voiceover as a career. And dubbing and voiceover per se is a booming industry today because you're seeing so many films in non-Hindi languages which are dubbed. You're seeing so many English films which are dubbed. Okay. So dubbing and being a dubbing and a voiceover artist is a career in itself. We are having a workshop on dubbing and voiceover, which is going to be conducted by Shabgufta Abrar. Now, who is she? She's the one who's lent her voice to most of the leading South actresses, and these lead actresses have won national awards for their films in their respective languages. She has dubbed for the show Squid Game on Netflix. She has dubbed for so many television serials, and she's a voice and a name to reckon with. She's the one who's agreed to come and do the dubbing and voiceover workshop with you. We also have a workshop on sound foley, okay? Footsteps walking, door closing, creepy houses, floor cracking, wooden sounds, all these sounds that are created, the impact that these sounds create in films is also part of sound. So we have Karan Singh Rajput, who's going to come and do your workshop on foley and sound foley. I would suggest that you should Google this gentleman, because you would then know the kind of work he has done for the kind of films that he has worked for in the industry, in Karan Singh Rajput. So these are the different kind of workshops we have for you. Traditional art, I'm sure we all love to paint. In our own college, you must have seen wonderful paintings done by so many of our talented students. We have mandala art that we have chosen, and this is going to be an online workshop where you're going to be taught how to do the mandala art. And our own student, Sagar Kaushik's mother, who is a fantastic mandala artist, is going to conduct the workshop for you. So my dear students, what are you waiting for? Your own institute has planned so much for you all, okay? Not because it's a part of a festival, but you must take this as a part of your curriculum. Why? Because otherwise, you would never get a chance to interact with such industry people. You would never get a chance to learn these things, and you would never get a chance to find out whether you are really interested and want to pursue this as your career. I'm telling you, you are very fortunate that it is your college which has taken this to organize this for you all. And you should be proud that no other institute in the city of Mumbai can even think of curating something like this for you. So make the most of it in this festival. And I don't want to say this because I don't think this is the right platform to say it, but nevertheless, I'm sure each of your faculties have told you that your assignments are also going to be aligned to this. Leaving the assignments apart, make this a rich learning and an experiential learning experience for you. Make the most of it because you're fortunate enough to have this. Wish you all the best, and I hope to see you all in large numbers. Not only for these fantastic sessions, but I also want you to participate in the events. The brochure is already sent to each one of you. Read it and attend it and participate and motivate other students, your own friends from other colleges to come forward and register and participate. It's not only DGMC, but it is DGMC inviting every other college in the city, outside the city, and your friends in this college and in other colleges to come and be a part of this 4-day festivity. Thank you. Have a nice day.